So obviously it's a big conversation. There's a generation that came out during COVID into the workforce that never was in an office and didn't have the benefit of leaning over to their colleagues and saying, hey, what about getting an answer? Instead, they got used to scheduling a Zoom for 30 minutes, and it was always very formal. They didn't develop that muscle of informal conversation and how to back channel. We think what happens now is, yes, they have to come back to work, and it's not all about them. We think that there's a middle group that have been working 10 plus years that got very comfortable being home and watching the kids and doing their errands and not commuting. And there's a senior executive group that either has to be in or has decided they don't have to be in. So we think, based on all of that, we probably wind up with a hybrid market. Creative, strategy, those are things that require a lot of collaboration. So the more collaborative the role, the more you need to be in the office. We are seeing 3 days a week coming back. Some places fixed 3 days, other variable 3 days, maybe 2 days flex. That seems to be dominating the agency and services conversation. And then you get somebody like Disney, where Bob Iger comes back and says, you're all back 5 days. Or an Elon Musk at Twitter and SpaceX, you're all back 5 days. I think it is, where is the office space? How dispersed is your pool of talent? And how are you going to manage hybrid? And the managing hybrid and figuring out, there are some roles, sales roles, where productivity is measured by, did you hit your targets or didn't you hit your targets? Other roles, developers, they have a code base that they need to deliver. A lot of their work might have been in isolation. If you're in a call center environment, you could be physically in that call center where you get active monitoring, you get active help, or you may be distributed. So do you need to be in or do you need to be out? But you certainly need to be logged in. So I think understanding what's the right metrics, and I actually believe that the BPO market, call centers, service, they've been doing this longer.
Yeah.
They had more experience. I think the agency world has to find its way to be creative and strategic and engage with their clients while operating in a more hybrid environment. Especially when your clients are hybrid, it's even more difficult. Should I be in when my clients are in? What if I have two different clients who are in? So a lot of complications. We think that there's good work started on tools to better manage productivity, outside of just capacity utilization, which is how many hours are you there? Are you being theoretically productive? But how do we collaborate better? And Slack, Teams, but it's what comes next. And we think that that is a software category that the market, everybody's using something, but what are the standards? What are the KPIs? What are the metrics we're supposed to be tracking? I think there's a lot of organizational work to be done. But there's a recognition that, one, we have to answer, how do we want people to develop human interaction skills so they can have a career? It's not a point in time, you do this, but it's the things you learn working with other people.
Great. So tell us about the outlook on 2023 as well.
So what we're thinking, right, subject to whether the economy grows or shrinks. Right now, we're right on the edge. I've seen the current GDP forecast says we'll be up somewhere between 0.2% and 1%. So slight growth. Advertising and marketing grows 2.5 times. So you could have a year where ad spend would grow maybe 3 or 4%. Throw on hybrid, throw on B2B, and we're looking at around 5 to 6% growth. That's the baseline, is just under 6. On a blended basis, B2B growing slightly faster, and individual channels capturing more money. We think linear actually shrinks. There's no election, there's no big tentpole events this year. There's nothing that propels brand. And when the economy is growing slowly or retracting, there's always a shift to retention marketing and performance channels that you can measure well. And that's generally not been linear. CTV we'll still see because it's that hybrid of brand and performance because it's targetable and measurable. So we're still seeing a lot of money going in that direction. Mail, paid social, paid search should do okay. Just it's okay at a different level. 6% growth would be good. If the market declines a few percentage points because we go into recession, that growth will come down. You don't see a scenario yet where we would have negative growth in advertising and marketing.
Okay.
But the big trends are going to continue. Focus on data infrastructure, retail media marketplace growth, and how does that fit? It doesn't really work. All the money's a ton of money going. It's said that the market in the US will go from 45 billion spent on retail media marketplaces to 100 billion over the next 20 years. It's a massive jump.
Yeah.
When we don't have our measurement down. And, it's kind of that last click thing. They take, on the cost per order metric, you look and say, oh, retail media advertising drove that. Well, how much would I have gotten just because my brand was in the store? So incrementality is something that we'll pay a lot of attention to. Am I getting the incremental benefit as I put more money to work? So we're still seeing that. We think we're going to continue to live in a hybrid world. Online, offline. Like traditional is not going away. At best, we think the market gets up to maybe 30% commerce, 35% commerce, and 65% of on-prem, traditional, walking into stores, buying your things. People are figuring out what should I order online and what do I really need to go and try on. And if we start seeing the cost of returns go up, all of a sudden you'll see people pay a lot more attention. Instead of just ordering everything, oh, this doesn't work, and send it all back for free, we'll see a change of behavior. So we're watching that one. We're watching CTV in the US. Bigger issue here than I think it is in Europe right now. And by the way, we have a B2B outlook coming out, which will drill in on B2B. And then we have a UK outlook and a European outlook. It will be out by the end of February. We have offices in the UK and France as well. So we're trying to do a better job of serving those markets and really doing a market by market perspective. Canada, however, we still kind of lump into the macro trends look the same. The privacy regime looks like Europe. So Canada kind of lives in a hybrid place, but it's easy to get to generally. But overall, if the economy and the geopolitical doesn't go completely sideways, we think it's going to be what would have been considered a very good year 4 years ago. But we're starting to see digital growth slowing because it's a law of large numbers. There's only so much you can shove into a channel, and there's only so much growth in those. Facebook's user base doesn't change, and the hours spent on platform doesn't change. The only way they're going to grow their revenue to satisfy Wall Street is by raising CPMs. And all of the platforms have been doing this for 4 or 5 years. Ultimately, when you do your analytics, you go, you know what? There's a point where it doesn't pay out the same way. And I've got to go find a new channel. Whether it's how do I work with influencers or affiliate, there's always that search for the perfect mix of channels. We're not there.